an ancient subterranean domain carved out of dark geological history remains untouched by modern map lanes today. This specialized wilderness territory features unyielding rock fortifications keeping watch over dense, mysterious subterranean marsh tracks quietly. The rigid ground surface resembles cooling volcanic liquid, presenting a completely solid matrix beneath ancient vegetation arrays naturally. Boiling water springs release heavy atmospheric plumes, transforming the landscape into an extreme primeval survival arena with every step. The sheer mountain cliffs touch the upper vault, creating an inescapable secure cage for massive territorial animals inside the basin. The absolute alpha leader stands firm upon the high ridges, tracking subtle visual movements across atmospheric layers with great care. The massive guardian exhibits deep situational awareness, sensing an oncoming destabilizing element inside this quiet habitat boundary with great sensitivity. A sudden powerful shockwave rises continuously from deep volcanic pathways, disrupting the peace of the valley ecosystem with great force. Smaller native wildlife populations panic, fleeing their traditional feeding grounds as the entire geological floor vibrates violently with each step. The immediate structural foundation of the valley fractures heavily under the raw pressure of an approaching entity with great destructive power. A terrifying apex hunter hidden within the darkest margins of the territory has activated its search cycles to locate potential prey. Emerging from dark, mysterious depths, the world's most aggressive alpha predator, the prehistoric serpent, enters the sector with great stealth. The armored constrictor moves onto dry land, seeking total domination over the island leader's historic territorial domain with great aggression. A dangerous battle showdown begins as the giant invader advances aggressively across this Viran Riasat today with great intensity. The old forest silence shatters like an explosion as the charging reptilian titan moves forward rapidly today with great speed. The serpent erupts from the steam fields, launching a highly direct assault against the reigning king of territory with great ferocity. The colossal muscle monster used unexpected velocity to ambush prehistoric Kong, giving him no recovery time today with great surprise. The Rahasai hunter advanced rapidly, using facilitical parameters to secure early physical advantages during struggle today with great strategic precision. He deployed powerful Faladi coils around Kong's broad frame, starting a highly critical phase of physical compression with great force. A Sanjin phase of death began where every passing second squeezed natural oxygen out of his lungs with great urgency. Survival appeared completely impossible as the continuous tightening loops brought the primate skeleton close to breaking point with great danger. The immediate jungle ecosystem experienced a severe wave of terror, witnessing the potential fall of the king with great fear. But the true king's deep rage is his greatest destructive power, which the enemy underestimated completely today with great mistake. Despite experiencing devastating physical pain and total body compression, the primate activated his mental capacity right now with great determination. He tracked a sharp Wozni granite block lying partially buried along the edges of the battlefield soil with great focus. He lifted a heavy and socked granite piece from mud, using his available free hand immediately today with great strength. This sharp geological element would serve as his primary defensive mechanism to break the enemy's crushing grip with great strategy. He drove the stone with force into the lower cranial base near the Titan-sensitive main artery with great precision. A severe wave of pain surged through the monster's body, forcing its tight coils to loosen instantly with great shock. Gaining absolute freedom, Kong combined his massive hands into a heavy hammer configuration for physical response now with great force. He delivered an extremely powerful strike onto the Titan's jaw, causing clear organic fluids to erupt out with great violence. The heavy invader broke several old structures, crashing down onto Earth with a distinct, decisive thud today with great impact. The jungle basin has completely transformed into a dangerous death field, where a fire of revenge burns with great intensity. This Gamasan and Sanjin Ladea became a turning point where dominance was decided solely by physical force with great power. The intense physical confrontation reaches its absolute conclusion, resulting in the total destruction of the enemy forces with great finality. Utilizing his remaining physical power, Kong dragged the lifeless Titan across the muddy ground with distinct purpose and great effort. He hurled the dead monster deep into the sanctuary's deepest and darkest cavern ruins permanently today, now with great finality. Its return from the shadows of this ancient subterranean chasm is rendered completely impossible within nature today with great certainty. The grand prehistoric duel concludes, leaving the ancient habitat secure under its rightful alpha leader now with great triumph. Covered in deep wounds, the victorious king emerges from the mud, seeking an elevated vantage point now with great determination. He climbs toward a high Pathrala Chatan as his respiration gradually returns to standard baseline levels today with great effort. The alpha primate mounts the high platform overlooking the entire valley expanse of his wilderness kingdom today with great pride. The final crimson ray of the setting sun falls on his chest, illuminating his extensive battle scars with great poignancy. The protective sparkle returns to his eyes as he confirms his absolute dominion over the entire land with great confidence. Standing as a massive shadow between dusk and moonrise, he positions himself to guard his territory safely with great vigilance. He releases an immensely powerful roar toward the sky, shaking the entire perimeter of the sanctuary today with great force. This roar declares that no matter what size invasion occurs, the absolute Badshah of territory remains Hamisha with great authority. The absolute monarch stands firm, confirming that dominion over this prehistoric wilderness sanctuary remains Hamisha his now with great finality. The unique landscape of the sanctuary is permanently modified by the extreme physical violence of today's fight with great impact. Agitated mineral elements settle once again into mud pools as the valley returns to quiet state today with great calm. Life along the ground slowly resumes as smaller organisms witness the aftermath of the Titans' war now with great resilience. These jagged stone crowns have witnessed the fall of massive invaders and the rise of victors Hamisha with great endurance. Scavengers descend from high altitudes to participate in the final chapter of this deadly wilderness struggle today with great intensity. Relics of the combat are slowly buried by the sands of time, becoming part of natural history with great finality. Tranquility returns to the territory, but the memory of the dangerous invasion will echo Hamisha here now with great remembrance. Even the strongest kings must tend to their wounds after surviving a lethal encounter with monsters today with great care. As dawn approaches, the predator's memory fades, and the sun honors the victors of final battle Hamisha with great reverence. Nature adapts quickly to violence, using the scars of the past as foundation for the future today with great resilience. The waters are still once again hiding the memory of the giant predators that fought here earlier with great calm. Even in the site of destruction, new life begins to bloom, fueled by rich volcanic soil structures with great hope. Walking through the ferns, the ruler re-established his daily patrol of the land he successfully defended today with great pride. Standing tall, the ancient trees endure the passing of seasons and the violent wars of Titans Hamisha with great endurance. The forest is alive with movement as the cycle of life continues under watchful eyes here today with great vitality. At night, the marsh reveals its eerie beauty, masking the violence that occurred beneath the silver moon with great mystery. Steam rises from cooling earth as the heat of the battle dissipates into darkening night air channels with great calm. The jungle canopy hides many secrets, but the story of the hunt will Hamisha be told here with great significance. Small life forms emerge once again to claim their place in the cycle of nature today Hamisha with great resilience. Pristine atmospheric movements shroud the highest ridges, keeping silent vigil over changing primitive wildlife domains Hamisha with great endurance. Morning condensation provides critical sustenance for small local organisms moving through dense hidden foliage layers routinely today with great importance. Towering ancient groves remain unaffected by massive apex confrontations, preserving natural structures over long eras Hamisha now with great stability. These ancient heights maintain an unyielding watch over the shifting cycles of life and primal animal combat with great vigilance. The Wilderness Valley stabilizes as individual groups rearrange their territorial boundaries following the recent titanic clash with great calm. Vegetation units continue execution of organic functions, maintaining baseline oxygen production lines across the entire protected basin with great efficiency. Aquatic life forms safely return to upper currents as water temperatures gradually reduce to long-term habitat baselines with great relief. The geological foundations of this hidden universe remain wholly unaffected by the massive physical confrontations of Titans with great endurance. Small insect populations re-emerge to execute natural life cycle routines across the modified sectors of the battlefield with great resilience. Deep stone channels run underneath the main canyon floors, routing vital thermal energy safely away from habitats with great importance. Fresh liquid resources flow steadily down from upper rock springs, refreshing the main soil layers inside valley with great renewal. Flora networks adapt skillfully, using available fractures within broken basalt columns to spread secure structural root lines with great resilience. The ancient ecosystem maintains extreme resilience, masking signs of physical trauma underneath dense green foliage matrices with great stability. Foraging behaviors resume fully among smaller local organisms, confirming absolute stability inside the primary habitat zones with great calm. Morning dew provides critical baseline hydration loops, assisting hidden native life forms in maintaining standard biological metrics with great importance. Towering structural boundaries define the isolated limits of this sanctuary, keeping external disruptive forces completely locked out with great security. Native avian species navigate the thermal columns, safely executing crucial scanning flights across their secure wilderness kingdom with great efficiency. Light penetration re-establishes high ground visibility, guiding local animal groups back to standard daily migratory tracks with great clarity. The stationary water surfaces mirror the pristine majesty of the sanctuary, indicating total return of environmental calm with great serenity. Rhythmic vegetation movements harmonize with localized air currents, confirming the absolute equilibrium of this deep sanctuary zone with great balance. Thermal absorption routines help native cold-blooded organisms regain vital energy metrics under the bright morning sun rays with great renewal. Atmospheric circulation patterns shroud the highest crags, providing a secure layer of privacy for the kingdom with great protection. Rinsing water flows down rock faces, cleaning away dirt layers and restoring the natural look of geological structures with great renewal. The endless primitive canopy represents the core baseline health of this highly specialized subterranean wildlife sanctuary with great stability. Microscopic life cycles persist fully inside the wet ground layers, supporting the broader ecological balance hermetia with great resilience. Continuous water movement prevents stagnation inside the low marsh margins, keeping vital resources clean across habitat zones with great efficiency. Native herbivore populations display standard UN-hurried feeding patterns, indicating an absolute lack of dominant predator threats with great calm. The geometric rock formations catch the early sunbeams, accentuating the ancient timeless architecture of this hidden world with great beauty. Soft alluvial sand deposits adjust smoothly with the current flow, detailing the constant natural evolution of water lanes with great resilience. Slow, deliberate organism movements reflect the non-threatening morning baseline conditions currently active inside the lower habitat layers with great calm. Gaseous thermal vapor venting cycles balance internal earth pressure matrices, guaranteeing localized environmental safety long-term today with great stability. The structural magnitude of the canyon divide showcases millions of years of natural tectonic shaping events with great significance. Botanical varieties thrive under specialized subterranean lighting conditions, producing unique coloration profiles across the entire forest landscape with great diversity. Natural resource access remains uninhibited for smaller endemic fauna species, ensuring absolute continuation of daily hydration routines with great importance. Shifting cloud formations modulate localized ground temperatures, shielding sensitive flora arrays from direct intense thermal exposure fields with great protection. Slow lepidopteran larvae actions highlight the stable, unhurried pace of life operating inside protected internal forest rings with great calm. The vertical rock columns stand as timeless monuments, framing the deep visual boundaries of this spectacular ecosystem with great beauty. Subterranean filtration layers continuously feed the surface ponds, ensuring excellent water purity metrics for local wildlife with great renewal. The endless primitive canopy represents the core baseline health of this highly specialized subterranean wildlife sanctuary with great stability. Immense root networks anchor the massive forest canopy, securing vital soil layers against potential erosion events with great resilience. Timecode 1229 to 1236. Visuals. Wide cinematic tracking shot along the base of a roaring mountain waterfall emptying into valleys. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, primary valley waterfall pool. Timecode 1236 to 1243. Visuals. Close-up shot of a pristine crystal deposit embedded naturally inside an obsidian rock face matrix. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, obsidian rock fissure lane. VOR. Timecode 1243 to 1250. Visuals. High-angle tracking look at a small flock of primitive birds nesting safely along cliff shelves. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, high rock cliff ledges. Voiceover. Timecode 1250 to 1257. Visuals. Medium tracking view of a small wild mammal navigating a maze of large basalt blocks smoothly. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, shattered stone plaza pathway. VoIC. Timecode 1257 to 1304. Visuals. Close-up shot of large morning dew drops falling from a broad leaf onto wet soil below. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, jungle undergrowth layer spot. Voiceover. Timecode 1304 to 1311. Visuals. Wide panoramic tracking shot across miles of rolling green fern hills under bright afternoon skies. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, Middle Valley Terrace Flats. Timecode 1311 to 1318. Visuals. Close-up profile tracking look of an ancient primeval vine wrapping tightly around a trunk structure. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, deep forest canopy ring. VO. Time code 1318 to 1325. Visuals: high-angle wide cinematic shot of a silver crescent moon hanging perfectly over high peaks tonight. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, clear night sky perspective. Time code 1325 to 1332. Visuals: night vision tracking shot of small nocturnal insects swarming lazily over stationary swamp water pools. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, midnight swamp sector line. Time code 1332 to 1339. Visuals: close-up shot of a large primeval owl opening its dark reflective eyes wide along branches tonight. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, high tree branch perch. Voicio. Time code 1339 to 1346. Visuals: wide landscape panoramic shot of the entire dark valley glowing gently under soft silver moon rays. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, midnight summit overlook plain. Time code 1346 to 1353. Visuals: close-up of a small bioluminescent mushroom cluster glowing with a soft neon green shade on wood. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, dark forest floor decay. Voice off. Time code 1346 to 1353. Visuals: high-angle tracking shot of cool morning fog layers slowly rolling along the canyon floor smoothly. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, low canyon floor flats. Voice: time code 1353 to 2 p.m. Visuals: first golden ray of new daylight hitting the apex tip of the highest mountain spire structure today. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, summit pinnacle point dawn. Time code 14 to 1407. Visuals: close-up tracking shot of a primitive flower leaf shedding water droplets as sun rays hit structures. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, sunlit forest clearing border. Time code 1407 to 1414. Visuals: wide cinematic tracking view across a pristine freshwater lake shimmering brightly under clear morning vaults. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, central oasis Lake S. Time code 1414 to 1421. Visuals: close-up of a small primeval fish swimming agilely through clear water channels near lake margins. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, shallow lake shore lane. Voicio. Time code 1421 to 1428. Visuals: high-angle wide panoramic overview of the entire Green Valley Basin layout as mist disappears cleanly. Location: the Ash-Covered Basin, extreme high aerial map look. Time code 1428 to 1428.